I gotta go over probably the biggest lie about Mualani I've ever heard about even a character. This character's not clunky at all. I could not tell you why people say this character is clunky. It just doesn't exist. I was so worried when I got her that I was going to be like, oh man, I don't like using her. She's, so bad, man. She's so bad. She's just not even hard to control. Like, it's not even that she's hard to control. The one thing I can point out that is clunky about her is something specific to being in Natlan, which is the nightsoul transmission. And I'll show you guys right now. All right, so this is my favorite team for her. I like this team. This is the team. Okay, well, oh, right, because I didn't pop the E-skill. Great, yeah. I love when I forget to pop the E-skill from every week. I was like, why didn't it work? So, yeah, this is one of my favorite teams for Mualani. I do think that this is probably the team that I'll be using for her on all of her showcases. The Citlali team isn't bad. It's just that, Citlali likes to steal the application, right? But what I'm going to see here is we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to do this, this, and we have this. And then we're going to hit Mavwika's E-skill, and I'm spamming Mualani's Q, but it takes 9 years to actually pop it, and then I ended up double tapping E-skill. But you guys saw the thing that I wanted you to see, which was that even though I had been, using Mualani or spamming the Q, it just wasn't firing off, right? That is the one thing that I can look at and be like, that's clunky. That is what the clunkiness is. It just, I don't get why it's like that, but it is. I really don't. But yeah, in terms of her being actually clunky and hard to play, this character is not hard to play at all, right? Like I don't get why people even bothered to say it. Like, it's just, I feel like it has to be something that carried over from her launch to this, because I feel like Mavwika, I haven't tried it without Mavwika, but I feel like it could be a Mavwika thing. Now, I'm going to try Citlali's team again, just because I do think that it has the very high potential of being the highest damage team. I did try Sucrose. I gave Sucrose an honest shot. I just don't like Sucrose because her E-skill is so much not reliable in terms of swirling, right? It's a lot less reliable in terms of swirling, which then ends up actually leading to lesser damage because Kazuha swirls and then does all those stuff. Yeah, it just ends up being worse. But maybe one day. I think Sucrose's biggest value will be when she is able to hold Favonius Codex, because again, I will stand by this. If you're not bursting with Mualani on every single rotation, you're losing so much damage, man. If you have to start your rotation by bursting, I feel like you start your rotation by bursting, then you go ahead and you do all your Sharky bites. I think you're just going to be better off, which is another reason why this team can maybe do some pretty good work, because with this team, you have a good chance at getting a longer duration buff, right? Because Shilonen, then you go to Citlali, and the buff duration for all these characters is going to be pretty long. So that is where I think it lies a lot. Now, buff duration for Citlali, it's at 120 Elements Mastery for 8 seconds. But yeah, that's really the only clunkiness thing that I can see, right? I've tried a lot of her teams. None of them really show any signs of being clunky, right? And then, yeah, we just do that. Then we have this. Okay, well, of course, it wouldn't be a, video with Mavwika if she didn't miss a crit. Yeah. Yeah, that kind of defeats the entire purpose of this team. And, yeah, we see that. And will we see... We did see that happen, but, we saw also that this guy just took that. I mean, hey, listen. I didn't use her burst at the beginning for obvious reasons. Again, I've told you a million times, it takes forever to get the burst to actually go. But if this team can work, right? If I can get this team to work significantly well, and I can get it to consistently not take away my vapes, this is her best team by far. I think Kazuha, he's nice, but his buff durations are low, very low. And I think I'd rather have a low 8-second 120 elemental mastery than a low 40% res shred. This res shred getting onto all of her hits is very strong. This res shred here is a lot better, because you get the reaction here, and 12 seconds you have the buff, and that will take effect once we have Mavwika here doing her Q. So technically it happens right before Mualani even, so the 20% res shred should carry over to all of her hits, which is gonna very much so be good for her damage overall. And also again, I haven't mentioned it, but 28% damage bonus right there. Not bad. I do like that, right? If it works, it's good. But if it doesn't, then eh. And then also, it's making, Mavwika hit like 500,000 more damage, right? Like, it's not even close. Like, I haven't, said anything about it, but like, Mavwika does a lot more damage too. So yeah, I've kind of talked about it. Like, Mualani doesn't feel clunky at all. I feel like I'm obligated to make this video because in my using her, she doesn't feel clunky at all. This character has been lied about. Like, has been stomped on her name that she is clunky. There's nothing clunky about this character at all. You move and go into the enemy. Do you think that's clunky? No, you're just moving. Oh my, like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I don't get how people call this character clunky. Like, I picked this character up, and I'm like, I got someone hating on me because I used it wrong, even though I really don't think I did. Other than maybe I did my rotations badly, which again, I've done that a whole bunch in the last video, sure, but I was doing a whole bunch of different things in the last video, trying to look at different things. But even still, the only thing about her being clunky is the fact that Nightsoul Transmission prevents you from using your Q here for a few seconds. And that's the #1 thing. So let's go ahead and try this again. I just want to see... That does immediately... Okay, so that might be why. Yeah, so, again, pop in the Q here. Yes, and we'll pop this. I do have to... Yeah, as you can see here... Yeah, as you can see here, the cryo application took too long. And that is because we had full Nightsoul on Citlali. That's why. So, shouldn't be an issue in any difficult content because Citlali's Nightsoul will always reset. But we had half a bar of Nightsoul with Citlali beforehand. I'm going to now go ahead and not do that. And we're going to see. Because there are things that, like, maybe people looked at Mualani, right? Maybe, writ her off, right? Because I writ this team off very fast, too, right? Last video, I didn't even really give it that much time of day, right? I was like, all right, well, then, it wasn't consistent. I'm, taking that away, right? All right, here we go. Let's try this again. I just want to, okay, that was a mistake. Yeah, pretty massive mistake, honestly. Not, okay, so 615. I mean, that is kind of crazy, honestly, because that's basically a little bit worse than what we saw with, who is it? Who am I thinking of? Kazuha. Yeah, that guy. Is a little bit worse than what we saw with Kazuha. Now, that was not intentional at all. I needed to pop her Q first. I want to try and see if I can get off of Mavwika's bike because that's what's doing it. It really is tough because, like, it's I want to really do this rotation, but I can't because Mavwika, right? Like, having Mavwika and you have to try and, optimize for Mavwika because if you can optimize for Mavwika, then you're going to be doing a lot of damage because Mavwika is basically doing... it depends. Like, my C2 is obviously doing a lot more, but I would give like Mavwika doing like 50% of the damage of Mualani on this team. So she's doing 25% of the damage total, right? So let's go ahead and let's get this going. And yeah, we're gonna do this. Pop a normal attack, I guess. I know I just got completely confused. Yeah, no, it's not gonna work out. But we are gonna see 6 whatever. I don't remember if I looked at her thing. It really sucks. I don't know what to do. Yeah, maybe that's why people call it clunky, because they can't vape. I mean, I showed with the Kazuha team, I vape all the time. So if you have issues with that, just use Kazuha. But yeah, there's nothing really, even again, does not vaping equate to being clunky, right? Because clunky is not vape. That's not what that means, right? Like, that just means, you have issues to get your reactions. That's like saying Arlecchino is clunky. There is a genuine reason to, say that Arlecchino is clunky because you can move with Arlecchino. And if you move wrong or you do something wrong, you could end up screwing up your whole rotation. But with Mualani, there's no escaping, the stealing of vapes with Citlali, right? But I feel like I'm automatically obligated to say, because as just someone who has, an audience, this character has been lied about very, very treacherously. Like, there's no other way to put it. This character just has been lied about. She's not clunky at all. So yeah, that's my opinion on Mualani. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.